Booties Workshop. Here's Linda.
I hope you like my new theme music like I like my new theme music, because I just love to play that music. But it's really, the whole show is not about music. It's about sewing and about creating and about having fun doing it and finding people who love it as much as I do. And I've done that again because I've got my friend Nicole. So welcome to the show, Nicole.
Thank you.
And can you guess, we're going to be sewing for babies.
Excellent.
So have you been having babies and sewing? What's the story?
Well, I'm a new mom, and I've been finding that either things in the store are more expensive than, or more costly than what I've
very expensive.
Yes, and I also like doing things that are a bit custom and that also fit, because I'm finding that depending on how he's growing, some things just won't work. So it makes sense to make them, and
of course your baby is completely different from everybody else's baby, so we've got to make them special. That's exactly right. So you brought some of the kind of things that you can sew for babies, and I think this is a baby boy, so you sort of think, oh darn, you can't sew all the frilly things, but you can sew lots for baby boys.
Yes, it's wonderful. Aiden loves polar fleece, loves denim, all sorts of things.
Pants. So I mean, how simple is this? This is like sewing doll clothes, really. So for people to be buying this is kind of ridiculous. They should be sewing this. So
no, and I think it cost maybe $2, and it took 20 minutes.
20 minutes, so that's for sure. The baby's great.
Now that Aiden's starting to feed himself, we're finding we're needing more full coverage, shall we say.
So this is kind of the sleeves and the Velcro on the back, so that's great. This looks to be fun, and you said, how did this work?
Well, we bought a number of bath hoods and found that they just didn't absorb the water, and so I decided to make one out of the terry cloth, and they're great. So, and
put the baby in here and wrap them around, and that sounds good. Okay, shall we put your little hat on here, Aiden?
Yes, this was another 20-minute project. And he loves pulling it off.
And eating it, I'm sure.
Yes.
If we can't do anything, let's eat it. Well, we've got a jacket, so you think you're going out. That's probably what you're doing. So here's your jacket, and of course, fleece.
And it could be either color, either side, reversible. And I quite like this because you could just fold up the hoods. The sleeves.
Okay, super. And actually, this is one that I made for my own granddaughter because they were saying that babies sleep in, they don't have to have blankets, they could be in these sleepers. And I thought this was kind of a neat idea. So it's just got a zipper all the way around, and you put baby in here instead of putting, so there's all kinds of new things out there that are kind of neat and simple to make. So but I do have my absolute favorite thing that I'm going to show you. So maybe we can get Aiden to go with Auntie. I think Aiden maybe wants to go with Auntie, and we'll bring on Ella. Hello, Ella. Hello. Do you want to stand up here and show everybody what you've got? Okay. Ella is sort of my new granddaughter, and she's in her parka. So I decided that we should have boots and the whole parka to match. And the first time we took her out, I mean, I was with her, and we went out. I mean, the first person that saw her just had a fit. They said, where did you find that baby, first of all, and where did you find that outfit? And, of course, you don't find outfits. You've got to make them. So thank you, Ella. Do you wave goodbye now? On the hood, So you go out. See you later. Bye-bye. So that is something we're calling the world's easiest parka.
Well, and I like it because you can put all the trims on.
You can make it whatever color you want. This is a great fabric. This is the reversible Sherpa. It's suede on one side and the Sherpa on the other. It's all one piece of fabric.
And it's washable?
And it's washable. I mean, I wouldn't put it in the washer and the dryer all the time, but it certainly can be cold water washed and just laid to dry. It's very nice. So as well for blankets. I mean, this would make wonderful blankets. It makes all kinds of good baby things.
And the fact that it is washable means you can use it in a variety of sorts.
Yes, you were mentioning that washability and baby things is an issue, isn't it?
Yes, and a lot of things shrink, and because this is fleece, I would think it would be fine.
If you're sewing it, of course, you can pre-shrink everything, but if you're buying them retail and they shrink, you're kind of out to lunch.
Yes.
All right, so here we go with this parka, because it really is the simplest thing. As you can see, this is on the fold. This is the hood, the back, and the front, all in one.
And the armhole.
And the armhole, So what we decided, the easiest thing, rather than hemming it, is turning the bottom up and top stitching it, and turning the front back and top stitching it.
Oh, so there's no real...
No, there's no.
Oh, okay.
We could have mitered that corner, and you could just trim that off if you want and kind of sew those both in, or you can just flip one over and the other. So then we put the zipper in, and it's just a simple little separating zipper. So this zipper is going to be exposed. So if you can see, we just kind of, and you kind of think this might get caught in the zipper, but it doesn't really. So you just basically sew that, top stitch that right along that edge, pin it up and match it up, and then that zipper and the hem is already done. Yeah. So then, and I think we have this next one. Yeah. We're going to put a sleeve in, and I think the easiest way to do this sleeve is to actually put the seam to the outside.
Right.
Because that's kind of neat. It kind of looks good.
You could pink it. You could do whatever you wanted with it.
Yes, or just leave it.
Well,
that's probably what we've done.
Yeah.
So then you would have to put the sleeve inside here. You'd have to sew up the sleeve. First of all, sew the seam, and then put it inside and center it up at the bottom and at the top. You may even have to clip the armhole down a little bit because this is quite bulky. So you decide if it fits in, good. If it doesn't, well, make it fit.
Okay.
And then you're going to sew the wrong sides together and stitch around there. And then when you pull it out, there's your seam.
Oh,
and we made it lots long because, of course, that'll give you a growth factor, which is
wonderful.
Good.
Yes.
And then it looks really cute that way as well. So once you've got that sleeve in, actually, I didn't do the shoulder. I have to do the shoulder first. So here's the shoulder. If you look at this, in fact, I should probably do it on this one. This is going to have to go like this and like this. So how could I put the sleeve in without doing the shoulder? So we're going to sew this together, and we can do it like this, which is probably the simplest way. So you're going to sew that shoulder, you're going to pivot and come around there. So that's going to all fit in there. And it's a bit bulky and you don't really know what's going on, but just do it. You can even do it by hand if you're having trouble getting that through your machine, because it's just a simple little bit. We actually even top stitch that down or do it by hand to kind of make it all flat in there. So before you put the sleeve in, you're going to have that shoulder done up, and then you put the sleeve in. Then, of course, sew up the top of the hood. Flip this back because, of course, it becomes decorative. You could hand stitch that. I kind of like the idea of rolling it a bit so that when you roll it and that hand stitches in, that makes it nice.
Right.
And then we put some braid on it. So, of course, this is kind of fun to just put braid, and we just top stitch that all the way down. Turn that, flip it around there, go around the outside. Here's the finished one. And you can see that there's just braid. I decided to put some little pockets because that could be for the soother, couldn't it be? Or whatever, but it looks so cute to have little pockets on. But then, of course, there's boots. So
how adorable.
Once there's a coat, and let's just pull this out, we decided there had to be boots. And they are, it's tough, as you can probably attest to with babies, to keep anything on feet.
Exactly.
But at least these tie, so they have a bit of a hope. So here it is. It's our baby booty pattern, and basically you need the sole, and the sole would need to be the size of the baby's foot, or, I mean, obviously the baby, this is going to be a very small baby, this one, but make it a good half an inch bigger than the baby's foot.
For the seam allowance?
Yes. Well, there's going to be very little seam allowance.
Okay.
So this is going to be the bottom that goes around here. So if you can imagine, there's going to be this riser, and this is going to sew onto there and around there. So that is sort of the way this is going to look. Then there is a tongue. Here's the tongue. The tongue is going to go on there. So if you kind of think this through, there's the tongue. This comes up. In fact, I think it's easier to show it really on the made one. So here's this one ready to go. This seam is sewn up. The tongue is going to go on there. We've got our drawstring. We're going to flip this down and stitch that. So I've got a drawstring going through. And then basically we have boots.
That's wonderful.
So, and of course, the joy of this is if you lose one, you can easily make another, because likely you're going to lose one at some time or other. So.
And you can use the scraps.
Oh, yes.
Wonderful.
The scraps will become more fun. In fact, you can use the scraps for stuffing and whatever. And that's what we're going to do next, is that we're going to have a toy segment. And so we'll be able to show you what you can make for babies and make some projects. Okay. Super. Well, thank you so much. And, and have fun with Braden. No, that's the next one coming. What is the name of your Aiden? And you said his name is?
Aiden McPhee's Ogilvie.
Wow, that's a big handle. So yes. Okay, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Well, I promised you animals, and did we ever hit the jackpot? In fact, I'm here with Carol of Carol's Zoo, and all of these wonderful animals. Carol, how did you ever begin this?
Well, you know, someone gave me a kit, a teddy bear kit, that had a million pieces to it, and I did not enjoy the process.
You did it, but it wasn't fun.
So I thought, okay, I didn't set out to do a 2-pattern piece bear, but can I do this in fewer than these gazillion pieces?
Okay.
And this little bear was the first one I came up with. And it only has 2 pattern pieces to it. So once I did this, I thought, well, how easy. It was then really not that difficult to go and think of all these
have sort of
other animals.
These 4 appendages and heads and ears. And
well, the cat has a tail, so she has a third piece, and then the hippo has kind of a gusset in the front. But all the others here just have 2 pattern pieces to them.
You must look at animals in a whole different way.
Oh, I do. I do.
In fact, what does your house look like?
Full of animals. Live and not live.
So some of them move and some of them don't. That's quite wonderful. So I think it's amazing that you've, from that same idea, you've just birthed all of these animals.
Right. And I have more in the incubator.
Oh, good.
Oh, yes. Moose, monkey, lion.
Okay. So
coming soon.
Okay.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Okay. Well, I love Quick and Easy. That's the name of sewing. I think we're all busy. We want to do things as fast as we can.
Absolutely.
And so you've just hit the jackpot on that one for sure.
What's ideal about this is, first of all, it's excellent to teach children to sew. We've done that.
Yeah.
If you need a quick shower gift, baby gift, somebody's birthday, or a charitable project, this is so easy to do.
And I mean, everybody needs stuffed animals. I mean, there's young, old, everybody.
And mascots for schools, things like that.
Sure.
But one of the things I discovered was you can make this up out of anything. You can see here I've got a variety.
So fabrics are really not.
Yes. And for example, these 3.
Let me just sit
you take those
down.
2. Okay.
These 3 are the same.
Are exactly the same pattern. No, I didn't change the pattern at all. They're just different fabrics.
So it could be the shag fur, it could be sort of more fluffy fur, it could be the old chenille bedspread.
Exactly.
You were also mentioning that the quilters could be doing this. You've started doing some piece quilting.
I think I have a rabbit here in the front that's an old quilt.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could use
polar
fabric.
Fleece. Yeah. Regular fabric, yes.
I've seen them done up as Christmas bears with Christmas fabric.
Absolutely, yes.
So there really isn't a fabric then that wouldn't work.
No. And of course, I happen to have a love affair going with luxury fur.
Yes.
And that's how I started out. And I found that it was a lot easier, especially because these do tend to multiply. Make a template.
Sure.
And this is 30 mil plastic, but for home use, you don't really need it that thick. 20 mil would be fine.
Sure. Especially if you've got kids doing these and
absolutely.
Production line going.
Yeah. And what I do is I just lay it down on the back, and
here's my. I would suppose.
Oh yes, yes. Thank you.
So we're going
and that needs, or you're going to have a very scared-looking animal.
Yeah, that's okay too. But
all I do then is just simply Sharpie, a little black Sharpie, works really great, and you just simply trace around it.
Okay. And again, who dreams up these shapes? These are wonderful. This is brilliant. Brilliant is the only word for it. That's great.
I guess being a sewer that like you, I want to do this quick, easy, fast.
Yeah.
Okay, there. I forgot a part. Oh, well.
Oh, yeah, we'll just start to cut.
And then see, all of these dots are your match-up points.
Okay. And they're on your little template anyway, so you just put the dots.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Now, to cut it, you, of course, work from the back. And for the little animals, so your wrist doesn't get really tired, I like using short, sharp little embroidery scissors.
And I know from cutting the fabric that we do garments with, you're just going to skim it, I bet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stick this underneath like this.
Yeah. No matter what you do, you're going to make a bit of a mess. There's no question. There will be a mess.
Yes, but
it's not nearly the mess as if you went
notice,
shopping.
I have black on. And I wear black to show people that if you cut it properly, it does not get all over the place. And then what you do is you just pull it apart.
Sure.
Now, I want to quickly show you, if you cut it like you would regularly, like that.
Ooh.
Okay. You have now cut off all this wonderful fur. And here's what you have all over the place. Yuck.
So no, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, so we cut it all out, and then we have to start to sew.
Now, after you cut it out, you wind up with 4 pieces, 2 pattern pieces, 4 pieces.
Okay.
Like this.
All right.
Okay. When you want to assemble it, I love this, aluminum knitting needle. And what I do is I hold it gently with a little air space in between. And you tuck it to the inside.
Sure.
And as you get it tucked in, then you pinch it together. Pins with ball heads on them. It makes it really easy because then what you want to do is sew a 1/4 inch straight stitch
away
from the edge, and I use a 12 needle, and I lengthen my stitch just a little bit. I also stitch with a contrasting thread, because if you have to take it out, which occasionally I do, it's so much easier to get your scissors points up underneath.
But with this kind of fur, if it's absolutely straight, it's not going to really make a whole lot of difference.
No, this is why it's good for
eye.
kids.
I think that is a key.
Oh, the eyes.
Or the nose or whatever.
The nose and one eye are already in there.
Okay.
These are safety eyes and noses with a locking washer, 300 pounds pressure, and Now, what you need to do with this is make a hole with your scissors points, and then I take my knitting needle and run it through a cup, and then try and find the hole on the other side.
Okay.
I know it's there.
Yeah. And then you stick that down through.
Here, you want to do this?
Sure. Stick that down through, and then stick that on the other side.
Now snap the washer on.
Okay, just push it. Okay, and that's there to stay.
It's in there to stay. Now show everybody what the face looks like.
Okay, so we've done 2 eyes and a nose. That's good. That's great. All right, so then
So the next step is, this is the back.
Yeah, those two are sewn together.
Put the front on the back.
Okay, and sew around. Oh, I love this. I love
And you
this.
sew all the way around. And this is what it looks like when it's been sewn all the way around. Now, should we give birth?
Sure.
Okay.
So we have to turn this thing.
I love using this.
Oh, so
do you have some of these?
I have some, but I...
Well, during the week you can make stuffed animals, and on Saturday you can perform surgery, because this is an abdominal clamp.
Okay, so I can scissor, or do you want me to start? Do you want me to...
Most people tell me now they have trouble with the fur, turning it. Yeah. So I make an indention, stick this in here, butt this up against me, and then just simply do this.
That looks kind of surgical to me, so that's good. That's good. That's great. And you've got the right instruments. So turning it is not a really big deal.
No, because this way you're not turning so much of it at one time.
Sure.
And then when you stuff it, you want to use a really good fiber fill that springs back really when you squeeze it, because you want your animal to hug you back. And then,
do you stuff them really tight?
No, very, very loosely. Okay. And otherwise they can't hug.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
And you make sure that everything is turned out.
Okay. Before we begin? Yeah. Okay, we shake it. And then we start stuffing.
Okay. And also I want to point out, because my model's all sewn up, this is where it's turned and stuffed, in the center of the back. And that's the only hand sewing that you do on it. But, ta-da.
Okay, by the magic of television, we have one already done, and it is perfect. And then you name it, and you carry on, and you can play and play.
There you go.
And make more and more. Thanks, Carol. This is just wonderful. So we're going to have you back again, because this is fun stuff. Yeah. Okay, great. We'll be right back. Weren't those animals fun? And those babies, you just don't get any better than that. But we have some fun stuff now, and it's about quilting. And I don't do quilts, but I do garments. But Cathy Brady's here, and you say you teach this all the time, and you quilt on your serger.
I do. It's actually my preferred way of quilting. I find that I still have the accuracy and the precision that a quilter gets with a traditional sewing machine, but I can serge much faster, and I end up with a finished edge that I don't have to worry about taking to the next step of quilting.
Like it doesn't show.
Exactly.
I mean, with the quilting, it's all enclosed there, but with this... So let me just see what you're talking about. You're talking about the inside edge of this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So anytime I want to actually create a beautiful piece top, but I don't want to take the batting and the backing and the process of going back to my conventional machine and sewing again to put the 3 layers together, I can create this on my serger, and it's not going to come apart.
Great.
So and I don't have durability.
And the tablecloth, I wouldn't have to quilt it. You can even do the edge. I mean, this is totally serged then.
Completely, 100% from start to finish.
Okay, and traditionally quilters tend to not want to serge because...
Well, it's considered unconventional. Traditionally, when sergers first came out, they were only used for garment construction. And they are only used in industry, and they were very, very expensive pieces of equipment even 20 years ago.
Right.
And they've come down substantially in price.
Yes, and they're a household word now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so this one is all serged, but you can't really tell, I guess.
It is completely serged and pieced, exactly.
Yeah. But I see these corners are looking pretty good, and that would be the issue with the...
Exactly. Quilters want to have that precision. They want the exact scant 1/4 inch, as well as they want their points to show. They don't like lopped off ears.
But you said with your differential feed, you can...
Exactly, and one of the advantages with the differential feed is that anytime I'm working with a bias edge, which most quilters who sew traditionally on their sewing machine stay away from, or they find another way to work around it. With the differential feed, I can work through the bias edges by adjusting so that I have more of a gathering process and I don't stretch out my pieces.
Makes sense to me. Sounds good.
So 60-degree diamonds are no longer something to stay away from.
All right. And so this piece here, again, everything is serged, so that's beautifully down the back.
So
and what's the trick with this?
The quick and easy part about this table topper is that you're only working basically with 3 fabrics, a light, a dark, and a border.
Okay.
So you've got a minimal number of fabrics to work with. But you have one design, which is called the pinwheel. But because you're working with the 2 fabrics together, you're creating another segment of a pinwheel. So it's like a design within a design.
So how are you going to do this?
So to create this, we're going to use a lot of the traditional tools that a quilter would use. So we're just going to take strips of fabric, cutting them with our rotary cutter and our ruler to the width that they want. We're going to take them, layer them together, right sides together, and serge them. And again, I'm using a scant 1/4 inch, which is on the width setting of my serger is 5.0.
Okay.
And I'm going to use a 4-thread overlock for this stitch because I want the durability so that when I do launder this and wash it, it's not going to be coming apart.
Okay, so that means it's stitching and serging all at the same time.
Exactly. So I'm sewing my seam, I'm reinforcing my seam and trimming it and overcasting it in one step.
Great.
So I've got these pieces. Then I would normally take my rotary cutter and my ruler and I would cut segments.
Okay, we'll just assume that you've done that because,
And I'm going to end up with pieces that look like this. So then these pieces are going to be taken together, serged. So 2 of these taken together. Turn these around so I got everybody going the right direction.
It is a bit of an IQ test,
It is. You got to be able to get the pieces together.
But it's the same piece.
Same piece, just cut off the same strip. Serge those together, and I end up with this section.
And that would be your block.
No, actually, and then 2 of these sections are put together to create the whole block.
Oh, okay. Okay. Shall we do this at the machine?
That would be excellent.
Let's go do that. Okay. So what do I need to know about
So one of the things that you want to use that traditional quilters would shy away from is the fact that I'm going to use regular serger thread on my right needle, my upper looper, my lower looper, and I am going to use the traditional cotton that a quilter would use in my seaming needle, which is my left needle. As well as I want to be able to use my sewing advisor on my serger to be able to show me that I'm going to use the stitch length of 2.0, which a quilter would traditionally use, as well as I have my adjustment setting for my tensions. I'm going to set my stitch width at 5.0, which is going to give me that perfect scant 1/4. And the other thing that is a little bit different is that we're not actually going to cut any fabric off. So we're just going to serge along the edge.
I can see that. Okay.
So once I've got this,
no pins required.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's going to be.
So I've got these 2 pieces together. I would take them to the iron. I would press them to the side that doesn't have a seam. Then I'm going to take these 2 pieces, lay them together,
and
one of the
process on.
Exactly. And the nice part is that you can nest your seams so that you're going to end up with those beautiful, perfect points.
Okay, I want to see it. And you can say you can put the pedal to the floor on this one.
You can. And actually, I've got the speed turned down here. I could even turn it up higher if I wanted.
Okay, the moment.
And there's that perfect point.
It is perfect. It is perfect. And that is so important. And that's what it's all about. I mean,
exactly.
That is it.
And that's why most quilters traditionally stay away from the sergers. They don't think they can have the precision. And they really can.
Okay, and I would say if they need some help as to what settings and all this kind of stuff, we'll have it in our booklet because you teach the class and you've given us that for our booklet. But they could go to their dealer. Wouldn't that be it?
Exactly. Most dealers are now doing
We're out of time. We've got to go. See you next time. And we'll just do this all over again on Linda MacPhee's workshop. So see you then.
To receive the companion book for this series, send $19.98 to the address on your screen or call 1-888-MacPhee.